Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's Legion here, and now we're back at it with another video. Now in today's video, as you guys see, we're doing something brand new. We're doing a character review. Now the first one we decided to choose is Jane Foster. Now of course we know that Jane Foster shares the same similar powers as Thor, so I feel like this is kind of the perfect time to really do this because I could tell you guys the differences and the similarities of these characters and basically leave it to you guys to see what you guys think about it overall. So before we get into the video, if you guys go to enjoy and you guys liked it, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well so you miss the video and always be notified when I upload a video. And most importantly, make sure you guys hit that like button. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Damn, homie, they ain't ready for this. Scatter shot, I'm working, hurt them worse than slitting your wrist. Hit subscribe, smash like, ring the bell, stay tuned. Now without further ado, here's the duel of June. Yeah.
Alright, so for the first thing that we're going to be getting into is the abilities of Jane Foster and Thor. Now we're going to go over the Assault, Support, Ultimate, and Intrinsic. So of course, let's start off with the Assault and Support. Now they both share the same abilities when it comes to God Blast and Warrior's Fury. Now if you guys look in the skill tree, they both have the same skills as well. Now this is disappointing slash understandable. Now for the disappointing side, I feel like I don't have no problem with them having the same abilities, but at least make it diverse when it comes to the skills in the left and right tab, so it can be more diverse and show the difference between Jane Foster and Thor. Now of course when I say the understandable, I feel like it cut less development time on the character Jane Foster to get out compared to just making a whole brand new support and assault. But at the end of the day, I wish they could have at least made it different when it comes to the left and right tab to make it diverse when it comes to these characters. But you know, we got what we got. But when it comes to the ultimates are completely different for these characters. Of course, we know Thor has the Bifrost and we know Jane has the All Weapon. These ultimates are very nice and very just stands out for these characters, especially for Jane. I feel like Jane ultimate with the All Weapon is way more cooler than the Bifrost. Now we know how the Bifrost works for Thor. If you guys, but the game's been out for 2 years, you should know how the Bifrost works. But for Jane, the All Weapon, that ultimate is so nice. If you guys don't know what it does, you guys will probably be seeing on screen right now. But Jane basically throws the hammer. It does an AOE move in front, and Mjolnir goes into the sky and goes around and hit people. And while Jane summons the hammer that she had when she became a Valkyrie, and she uses that as the other hammer while Mjolnir flies around, which is pretty dope. Now it is really it's a good example of them reusing assets that in a good way, because if you guys remember, Hunter's arrows for Hawkeye is just like that. It's just, you know, it's an arrow that's flying around instead of, you know, a hammer. So I really like the ultimate for Jane. It really stands out, and every time you pop it, it just looks cool with the animation and everything. So they really did a good job when it comes to the ultimate for Jane and made it so different from Thor. Now let's get onto the intrinsic. Now we know the intrinsic for Thor is called Odin Force, and basically Thor becomes invulnerable. Any range attacks that come near him will, you know, just instantly disappear from Odin Force, and he does increased damage. But the downside to Odin Force is if you get hit one time, you completely lose the Odin Force, which sucks. Now for Jane, when it comes to God Tempest, it's more of like a melee focused intrinsic, and once she is overcharged with God Tempest, she gets a shockwave on her range attacks with her hammer, and she also gets a buff to her range damage. Now, and also as well, the good thing that makes it good is the fact is once you're overcharged with Jane, you do not lose your overcharge for her. You will, it has a timer, and it will, once it goes down, you will lose your overcharge. So that's what makes her ultimate, well, not her ultimate, but her intrinsic more better than Thor for me, in my opinion. And I like the way they did it. I wish they could have did that with Thor, because having Odin Force, it really does give you a huge damage boost, and the fact that you can lose it just by getting touched one time is ridiculous to me. So, you know, hopefully they can go and change that in the future. But that is going over the abilities. Now for the next thing that we're going to be going over is their small little attack patterns that is different when it comes to their range and melee when it comes to Jane and Thor. So let's get on to that. Alright, so when it comes to these attack patterns, they are very small, because because at the end of the day, Jane still takes a huge inspiration from Thor when it comes to how he does his finishers and how he does his combos. But the little small things I was able to notice with Jane is with her when going into a finisher, she throws her hammer in front of the enemy and calls it back and proceeds to go into either the light combo finisher or the heavy combo finisher, and that is just for melee. Now for range, her range is very different from Thor. It is completely different. Now they really do stick true to the comics when it comes to this, because Jane has way more control over Mjolnir than Thor does. So of course, when it comes to Jane, she has more abilities and skills, and her range tree going more over her throwing the hammer, targeting multiple enemies at once, and having skills where you can throw the hammer far away and it can target a lot of people coming back. And that is something Thor doesn't have. Thor does have it, but you have to put on a perk from gear just to even have your hammer do that. And that is just little small differences that I do notice when it comes to Jane, when it comes to melee and range. Now, to give my overall opinion about Jane, I have to say she's about 90% Thor and 10% Jane. You know, when it comes to her ultimate, her intrinsic, and just little small details when it comes to her melee and range, you can see that they added stuff brand new in there for Jane, but the overall thing is she still has the same similarities to Thor. Now, you can call this an echo character, you could call it a brand new character, whatever you like. At the end of the day, Jane takes huge inspiration from Thor, and they play very similar, have somewhat different abilities when it comes to the ultimate, intrinsic, and little range and melee hits. But at the end of the day, we all have to come back to it. The fact is that she is Thor. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Jane is basically just the echo character to you? Do you guys feel like she has enough differences to basically make a character of her own, as you guys see? But let me know in the comments below. Let me know how you guys feel like I did this character review. This is my first time doing it, so I just, I've tried to be professional with it. You know how it is. But yeah, that is it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as I enjoyed making it. But before we head out, if you guys are not, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on post notifications to miss a video and always be notified when I upload a video. And most importantly, make sure you guys hit that like button. Now, of course, I will probably be live streaming on Twitch right now. So if you guys want to come out to the Twitch streams, the link is below for that one as well. We're going crazy over there. But yeah, that is it. I will see you guys later, and I'm gone. Peace.